Welcome back. It's crucial for personal and professional success, and it speaks to your self-awareness. We're talking about emotional intelligence. Katherine Alsip of ThriveOn Concepts is here to share how your EQ is key to success. So first up, let's talk about why emotional intelligence, or EQ, makes such a difference.
Yeah, study after study shows us that individuals who have high emotional intelligence perform better than individuals that have low emotional intelligence. So when we perform better, we tend to make more money. And this isn't just true for individuals, but businesses as well. So when businesses train around emotional intelligence, they see their profits increase by 20%, and their employees are actually 400% less likely to leave when they train around emotional intelligence. So basically, emotional intelligence, high is good, low is bad.
Okay, and 400% more likely to stay. I mean, that's a huge deal for companies who are trying to keep with talent retention. So let's go ahead and define what emotional intelligence is. We know it's good, we know we want to have it, but what is it?
Yeah, so it's a lot of things, but the simplest definition is going to be our ability to understand and manage emotions of both ourselves and other people. So Daniel Goldman, he's the leading expert on emotional intelligence, and he defines 5 key dimensions of emotional intelligence. So self-awareness, do I know what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that way? Self-regulation, if something happens, do I have the ability to control my emotions and get me kind of back to center? Motivation, do I wake up every day with drive and purpose? And then on the other side, so if I'm looking at someone, can I kind of understand what they're feeling and why they might be feeling that way? And then lastly, the most important part, do I have the ability to influence someone to feel a certain way about a certain thing?
Okay, those are also interesting, and it seems like the first two are really derived at measuring yourself, and also, hey, if I am getting a little heated or maybe I'm a little frustrated, can I take a breath? Sometimes it's as simple as that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, we're talking about emotional intelligence. We know why we want to have it and what it is now. How do we actually measure what we have?
Yeah, so the best way to measure emotional intelligence is an EQ assessment. And we want to talk to someone who's certified in emotional intelligence so that they can administer that for us. You can go out and look online and Google, and you may be able to find a free one, but usually those aren't valid or reliable, and they're not usually backed by science. So you really want to find that person, because once we take it, we get a score back. And a lot of times we're not happy with that score. So we want to work with someone to increase that. And that's when you want to work with someone who's certified.
Okay, so is it like a 1 to 100 how you get scored, or what is kind of that level?
Yeah, so it is 1 to 100, and those 5 dimensions.
Good guess.
Yeah, those 5 dimensions are the things that we're talking about. So we may ask questions like, do I give 100% in everything that I do? And that's going to be measuring the motivation. Or do I understand what I'm feeling every day? That's going to be talking about our self-awareness. So it's going to ask us or provide a statement, and then we have to say, is this a lot like us or not like us at all?
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, how do we actually boost our emotional intelligence if maybe we're thinking, this is something that could really help me in my career and maybe even be more successful?
Yeah, so I came with 3 tips today. The first is something I call WAIT. It's an acronym, W-A-I-T, and it stands for what am I thinking? So this is a good opportunity when something's happened, you just ask yourself that question and kind of feel what's happening in your body and what's going on. Feelings are a good thing. I think that's one of the things that happens when people start to talk about emotional intelligence is they're like, well, I'm just not supposed to feel anything. Feelings are a good thing. We just want to be able to name them and understand why they're happening. And that right there, something as simple as that, increases our self-awareness.
Okay, so we need to understand the motivation behind why we're feeling the way we feel.
Yeah. So tip number 2, something called time traveling. We can't actually do it, but we can put ourselves in a position of what we think about in the future. So again, this is great when you're frustrated or angry, somebody's cut you off, is to think, how am I going to feel about this in a week, in a month, in a year? Usually it doesn't matter in the big picture. So something as simple as asking ourselves that question helps us kind of move through those negative emotions more quickly, and that right there increases our self-regulation.
Okay, and real quick, can we get that 3rd tip?
Yeah, so the 3rd tip is just to understand that empathy is not action. So when you're talking to someone else, maybe they're upset or they're sad, oftentimes we want to go in and fix it for them. Empathy is all about being there with them and listening. And I think Maya Angelou said it best, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Well, Katherine, you have made us feel just so relaxed this morning and ready to take on the week, so thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bill?